But the reality is there is no finish line.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you see a finish line, it's like it's over for you. It's a wrap. Because as soon as you stop moving, the world keeps going and you just get left behind. Yo, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Battle Ready Show. Joined with my good friend Leighton here today.
Yes, sir.
Guys, we're talking about hard and choosing your hard, right?
What kind of hard you want, man?
Hey,
Choose.
listen,
what you got? What you got?
We got sidetracked just beforehand, which is why we're kind of giggling a little bit because it got immature. But hey, listen, man, you can choose your hard, right, Leighton? And there's this. It's not a misconception. It's all over the internet. You'll look anywhere you look, and it'll talk about like you can choose to do hard shit voluntarily, or you can have hard shit thrown upon you because you choose the path of easy every day. So that's kind of what I wanted to go down today, because I wanted to get your perception on this as well. Because you've had your own challenges, you've had your own version of hard.
Hell yeah.
I've obviously had my version of hard.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of deep dive into that a little bit if you're good with it.
For sure.
So I mean, off the bat, tell us a little bit about your version of hard, and then what you did to overcome that, and then now what you do in terms of like your version of hard. You know?
Yeah. So I'll say real short is the short long version is growing up, I never had anything to complain about, like financially. Like I never went without my mom. It was just me and my mom, which people can say, whoa, it's me, I didn't have my dad, whatever, which that was a different version of hard. But financially, I never struggled. We had a nice house, only child. So I got everything that she made good money. It was just going to me. So I tell you that part of the story because when I got older, I felt like I kind of had this, like how B talks about it. And he's like, oh, I have the immigrant edge. I grew up struggling. So when I got older, I had new work ethic. I had work ethic, decent work ethic, but I felt like I was almost like cheated because life was too easy earlier. And like it sounds so weird to say that, but I almost wish I struggled a little bit more so that, you know, things could, even though things are going to be hard regardless, now you have the mindset of like, oh yeah, I was built for this. I'm ready for this. So that's why I tell you the beginning, the early stages of my life. So yeah, it was just, and now it's to the point where it's like, I have the mindset of, I welcome that. I love it. I love it because I know that I'm being forged into a stronger version of myself. It took a while to get there, I'll be honest. It wasn't like, you know, you see online people like, yeah, I love it. I love, you know, just when things suck. Like, no, you don't, bro.
No, you don't.
But you maybe they do. Maybe they got to the point. You get what I'm saying? So that's the point I'm trying to make. So in the beginning, I was like, man, this sucks. Why is this happening to me? Why me? Whatever. Then you get to the point where it's like, bro, you welcome it because you want things to be more difficult because you know the result is coming after that. So yeah, my version of hard now is, I mean, I'll say this time last year, bro, I had money, but it was like just enough to get by. And sometimes it was like, even that wasn't even enough. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, dude, paying rent for the apartment, it was like, you know, and then I had like, we already had one daughter married and then the second daughter on the way. And it was like, bro, I don't have money for all this stuff. Like, you know, I got to pay rent, I got to pay bills, and we got to do this and that, whatever. And it's just like, it was stressful, dude. Like it was a really stressful time. But at the same time, I would never trade those times for the world because it's like, dude, what came out of it after that and who I became in that process. And I also started working out at that same time. Bro, I'm a completely different person a year ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good thing.
I mean, the stress that you had then is now like day-to-day life for you, and you don't even batter an eyelid at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I think about the shit that used to break me like 5 years ago.
Bro.
I mean, that's my day-to-day life now. It's like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
So I guess my question for you then is what was the catalyst or the trigger that kind of sent you from borderline like the poor me, I can't believe this is happening to me type mindset? Because there's a lot of people still in that space to where you're like, okay, I understand that this is a process and that I have to go through this to get to the other side. What was like the catalyst or the turning point for you that got you across that hurdle? Because that's a big fucking hurdle to overcome.
Yeah, you just got to get tired, bro. You got to get tired of yourself. You got to get tired of your nonsense, tired of your BS, tired of your excuses. You got to get tired of just like feeling sorry for yourself. Like what a sad way to live life, man. Just be like, oh, life is hard, it sucks, man. Why? What? Like, stop complaining, bro. Like, I'm about to get fired up right now. But it's just like, it's so much better to have the mindset of bring it on. Like, what else you got? That's just so much. Like, think about when you get in a fight with somebody, man. When you fight somebody and you're giving it everything, you're throwing the hardest blows ever. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna knock this dude out. And he just turns his head, just kind of turns back. He's like, oh, that's all you got? And he keeps going.
Shit.
Bro, you're oh man, you're shaking in your boots, bro. That's so much cooler to have that mindset, that mentality. So you just got to get tired of yourself, number one. And number two, you have to understand that it's all happening for a reason. You know, you asked to become a stronger version of yourself. You asked for it. So obviously you're going to get problems you have to deal with to be able to become that person. So I just kind of changed my mindset of why these things were happening. And then things got easier. It didn't make the situation easier, but it helped, you know, tremendously just because I changed my mindset. So I think it's everyone needs to do that, bro. Everyone needs to switch their mindset and be like, yo, listen, this sucks. It's not fun. I'm not saying it's a good time,
right? But
it's happening for a reason, and that's fun. The fact that I have to figure this out. I have to use my brain to make things better for myself. So, you know, it's a good thing. It's all positive, bro. It's all positive.
I agree. And it gets to a point where, yeah, like you said, you realize that you asked for everything you got. Like I had a pretty cool experience about a year ago where I was going through an old journal and all the stuff that I wrote down that I wanted. And like I set timelines that are still years ahead of where we are now. And I've achieved all of it. And it was like a pretty dope experience to be like, okay, that's why I went through those trials. That's why I had to like eat shit sandwiches for 6 months and just to like, feel like I was getting punched in the fucking face every day. It's because I needed to grow up to the point where I could handle this and this was the new normal. And then once you get to that point, you've already progressed. Like you and I, we're hungry fuckers, right? We got blood in our fangs. We want results. We want to win. So by the time we already within even a shout of it, we've already moved on to the next thing. So like it's easy to forget what you asked for. And then you're in this moment where you're like, fuck, I'm just like the world is on my shoulders. I'm carrying everything here. And then that was a real turning point for me where I got to look at that journal and be like, holy shit, I've made all of this happen. And I'm already like beyond where I thought I would be in 3 years or 4 years from now. And then it was like, shit, we have to revisit everything. But without that like representation and to look back, I would probably still be in that little bit of like a fucking, this sucks, where's the finish line? But the reality is there is no finish line. The moment you see a finish line, it's like, it's over for you, it's a wrap. Because as soon as you stop moving, the world keeps going and you just get left behind. So, I mean, like, what is some of the adversity that you create for yourself on a daily basis just to keep your like immigrant edge, as they say?
Yeah, so that's a good question because for me, I feel like I had to create that because I didn't grow up struggling in that way. So I had to like make it where it was like make things harder for myself. That can be anything from, I don't know, like how B says, like for example, what was it 2 days ago? I think it was 2 days ago. I was at went to Stater Brothers, went to get some groceries, and I don't know why the cart like return thing is so damn far. Like I parked farther, and then also the cart return wasn't like, you know, there's not a couple in the parking lot. It's just go back to the store, bro. So it's stuff like that. It could be something as simple as that. Put your freaking cart back. Like there was literally a place in the parking lot where people were just putting their carts on the curb. Like I was just like, I'm not gonna be that dude. And I walked all the way back. It's not a big deal. But there was a person looking at me, and he was just looking at me the whole way, and I could tell he was probably one of those people that parked his car on the curb. Like, you're crazy, bro, you're walking back. Bro, it's not that far. Just put your freaking car back. So anything from that to, you know, like when it comes down to financially, like you have to work, bro. You have to grind. If you don't feel like doing something, you still got to get up and do it anyways. Working out in the morning. Sometimes I don't feel like training. Like I really don't, especially legs. Like I hate working legs, but this morning I was like, all right, let's go. Let's go hard. You know what I'm saying? Let's lift some heavy stuff. And then afterwards, when we were working out, I had to take a seat because I was like, yo, my legs I'm about to freaking pass out right now. I need to chill. So you got to go hard regardless, man. So it could be small things to, you know, the biggest thing. But I think just there's always ways in your daily life to challenge yourselves. There's ways all the time. People they look for the easy way. But there's always ways to make it a little bit harder for yourself. For sure.
But the issue with always reverting to the easy path is that path also catches up with you and creates a hard life at some point as well. So like I chose easy for the longest fucking time, dude. I would DoorDash all my food. I would just like not sleep, so I over-caffeinated, and then I would drink energy drinks and all that stuff just to try and get by. And then it got to a point where you're like, bro, you're nearly 300 pounds. You've got kidney issues, heart issues, liver issues, high blood pressure, like pre-diabetic. That shit's fucking hard too.
Yeah.
living with that is horrible. It's not enjoyable. There's nothing fun about that. So you also get to a point where you start going, you know what, man? Like the penny dropped for me, and I was like, I'm just going to choose my hard, because it'll get to a point where I can come in here and I can kick my own ass and do the best that I can every single day, regardless of how I feel. And I envision a fork in the road every single time that this happens to me, where I wake up and I'm unmotivated, and it happens almost every day. Let's be honest, man. No one wakes up and is like, fuck yeah, I'm excited to go to the gym today. I can't fucking wait to smash myself up. Yeah. Like, and if you do, good for you, man, but that's not me.
For real.
I wake up angry and wanting to burn the world to its core every day. I'm like, fuck everyone, don't speak to me, leave me the fuck alone. Like, let me just work out and silence the demons in my head first. Because if I don't, like, I'm a dick. I'm not an enjoyable person to be around. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kill those fucking demons every single day, and the only way I know how to do that is by kicking my own ass. So I come into the gym and I fuck myself up. But it gets to a point where you're like, I'm going to choose that over becoming a dick and taking the path of easy where I sleep in. Because then what happens, dude? I've got 2 kids and a wife. I don't want them to see the demon inside of me, because what happens then? I say something I can't take back, or I do something that I can't take back. And you get to a point where, like, you break trust with your family or something over something as stupid as like, oh, you didn't put this back in the right place. Like, that's how petty it can get to sometimes.
Exactly.
And it's like, because you just haven't controlled your inner dialogue, and you haven't controlled your, and the reason you're so fucking angry is because you let yourself down. That's the reality. Like, well, I don't know about you, but that's for me. Like, if I'm like, I'm going to do this and then I don't, 9 times out of 10, I'm pissed off at me. I'm not pissed off at the world. I'm pissed off at me because I didn't do what I said I was going to do.
Right.
And then that shows up because then I deflect. And it's like, okay, well, I can just kick my own ass in the gym, do everything I got. And then if I choose that fork in the road, now when I get home, I'm not so angry and bitter and resentful and all that shit. I've dealt with that. I kick my own ass. Now I'm a better version. And then I do that path, and that path gets better and better every day. Or I go down this path, choose the path of the easy, sleep in, wake up bitter, resentful, angry, snap at my wife over something fucking stupid. And then now we're in a fucking weird vibe of the house, and it's like this dark cloud hangs over us all day.
Throws everything off.
And then, like, all of a sudden, like, Scarlett, she's a fucking baby, bro, but she picks up on energy very quickly. They do at that age. Like, she's what, 15 months, 16 months? Yeah. They pick up on that energy. Now all of a sudden she's a dick all day too. But it's because I'm a fucking prick first. And she sees that energy. I fed that energy to her mom. Her mom and I both fed that energy to her. And it's like the snowball effect, where by 7 o'clock at night, all of us just want to kill each other. And it started because I was a fucking lazy piece of shit and chose to sleep in bed rather than get my ass up at 3:30 and go to the gym. Yeah. So, like, I literally, and that's how extreme my head is too, right? It's a bit fucked up.
But I think it's a good thing, because people, like, it's perspective. Like, it's, you know, like you just said, well, we've been saying choose your hard, but life's hard either way. Right. So you might as well choose the way where you're in control. You're choosing to make it this way, versus just having life kick your ass and, oh, well, there you go. That's so, yeah, now you got to pick up the pieces and figure it out. I'd much rather be in control and make it to where how I want to make it, you know? Struggle the way I want to struggle, suffer the way I want to suffer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
because then at the end of the day, you choose which outcome you want. Like, you're not going to have an issue with pre-diabetic and all that shit, because you've chosen your version of hard, which is wake up, work out, focus on your nutrition, make good choices every single day. Yep. Whether you want to or not, you turn up a version of yourself that's going to be better tomorrow than it was today. Yeah. Like, or choose the other one where 10 years time you're on a fucking ventilator or some shit, and your family's paying for your medical bills because you were too much of a piece of shit human to make some good choices and be incapable of controlling what you put in your face. And now they have to pay for your fucking stupidity. Like, how selfish. Yeah. Like, as a man, you're supposed to protect and provide. How do you do that if you're not in shape, if you're not putting your best foot forward every single day? That's one of the biggest things that confuses the shit out of me. Like, guys are like, why do I need battle ready? Because you choose soft every fucking day. That's why. Like, how are you showing up the best version of you if you choose easy every day? Like, you speak to any battle ready guy that's actually done the program properly, and there's a bunch that come to mind. You ask them now if they're better for it or worse off for it. Every single one of them, hands down. More money in their business, better relationship with their wife, much better in terms of being a father. They look better, feel better, they show up differently. Most of them as well have streamlined their business because they got to a point where they realized that so many people in their organization were just fucking hanging on coattails, getting paid to do fuck all.
Yeah.
They cleaned up a lot of that shit. And now all of a sudden the margins are exponentially more and they're making fuck you money. Like one guy, I'm not going to drop his name, but last year he did $11 million for the full year.
Jeez.
This year he did $11 million in 7 days.
It's crazy, man.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Because he just changed who he was. He's no longer 300 pounds and fucking fat and sloppy.
Yeah.
He's actually intentional. He's like 220. He's borderline got abs at this point. He's got a lot of soft skin hanging around, but fuck me, dude. The guy works every day, grinds the shit out of the process. Doesn't fucking miss. You're surprised that his business is fucking crushing?
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
He chose hard. He made more phone calls in his business because he chose to do the gym every single day. All of a sudden, making 10 calls wasn't hard anymore. So he made 20 calls. Shocked that his business got better. Like, it's not hard. None of this is rocket science shit.
Right.
So I guess, where do you go from here? Someone's watching this, right? And they're like, I like what you guys are saying. I understand the concept. I don't know where to start. Where would you tell them to start? What would you tell them to do?
Start with daily things, man. Start with daily things, changing making these things more difficult for yourself. For example, if you're like my wife loves doing Target drive up, don't freaking give Target drive up. Don't send me the order. Hey, can you pick this up? Just send me the list of things and I'll go in the store and I'll buy the stuff myself. Like, it's simple stuff like that. Daily little things to not make things so easy for you. Because then those little things turn into making it easier for you to make harder decisions on a bigger scale. And that will obviously bleed in your life in all kinds of different areas and it'll benefit you in a lot of different ways. So I would say start small. And then in doing that, it's going to naturally make things easier for you as you go when you make these bigger decisions. And that's obviously going to be a good thing for you because you don't want to be soft and having things be easy for you all the time, especially if you're a dude watching this, which most of you guys are. There should be nothing soft about you, and like body wise, like your physique, just life habits, like, nah, we don't do soft over here, bro. So yeah, man, so I think starting small first, because what happens is I think is people, they go too hard too quickly. Like they're not used to that. You're just gonna burn out. Like it's not a good thing, man. So ease yourself into it, and those smaller decisions will make it easier to make bigger decisions as time goes on. That's what I think.
Well, that, and then you build the credibility, right, with yourself, because now you've got consistent with something, which is better than consistency with nothing. So as that consistency builds, that self-esteem builds, the self-awareness builds, the confidence builds, and now all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm going to do this. And because you've got a track record of winning, no matter how small that little win was, you're still like, well, I've got a track record of winning, so why would I not win at this? And then I like to go one step further from what you do, and I reverse engineer goals into daily habits. So I'm like, okay, cool. If I want to make, like, just use money because it's easy, right? I want to make $100,000 a year. Okay, well, how many dollars do I have to make a day? I have to make X amount of dollars a day. Okay, how many dollars do I have to make an hour? I have to make X amount of dollars an hour, or whatever. And then it's like, okay, cool, easy. I can make $50 an hour, or whatever the case might be. Oh shit, at the end of the year, I make $100,000. Fuck yeah. So it's like, I like to take big things, break them into little things, and then even smaller things to break it down to almost the ridiculous, right? And you know this now when you've done sales, because you've done a lot of sales. Sales works the same way. Hey man, you want abs? You tell someone it's $4,000. They're like, fuck that, I'm not paying $4,000 for abs. But you go, well, if you figure it out and you work it out and the price point per day, and it works out to a Starbucks coffee drink every single day, or a protein shake price point, everyone's like, oh, I can make a protein break. Like I can make a Starbucks run every single day. Like, that makes sense. I can fork out $7 or $8 a day. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, you've taken the ridiculous and you've made it even smaller, and everyone's like, okay, cool, I can do that. So do the same with your goals, do the same with your heart, do the same with everything else, and you'll get to a point where you have no excuse not to do it, because it's fucking $7 a day. Who doesn't have $7?
There we go.
It's got to get to a point where, like, man, you just got to make a choice too.
Exactly.
Like you said, man, you get fed up. You look in the mirror and you go, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm done. Like, this version of me has to die. Right. And you have to get to the point where you're like, this version has to die. And you have to kill that motherfucker and decide who you are. And like a goddamn phoenix from the ashes, you rise up and you make good choices. And I did that Instagram video the other day. You were like, oh, this is money. Where it's like, would the highest level version of me make this choice every single day? If no, don't fucking do it. Get to a point where you're like, the highest version of me does this, and do that every fucking day until you win. And you will win because the highest version of you wins. But if you're like, oh man, well, I'm going to do it on a Monday and then on a Wednesday and maybe on a Saturday.
You're making freaking excuses.
Fuck out of here.
Making me sick, man.
Dang,
man.
I'm about to start going for another 30 minutes if we're not careful.
I'm telling you, because I'm like, it just someone came to mind when you said that right now. I'm not gonna call you out.
Should.
All right, I should, but
because love ain't lies.
Then it would disrupt the family. It's someone's family member, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that gets testy.
Inconsistent is all I'm gonna say.
It gets testy.
But it's out of love. I push him because I love him, and that's what it's all about, man.
The sad thing is though that you'll push him, and everyone also think you're like bullying and being irrational. And,
Mr. Fit guy coming in here with muscles.
Telling him how to live. I just want him to be better.
I'll take it. Give me the nickname, man. I'm down. I'll be Mr. Fit guy. Cool. Cool. It's cool with me.
What else you got, man? You got anything else you want to put
That's it for me, man. Yeah, that's it for me. Just choose hard, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And what my version of hard is and your version of hard is doesn't have to be the same.
Yeah.
Like whatever you think hard is, just choose that. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't have to be Byron's version of hard. Mm-hmm. I'm like, because we do this as well at Battle Ready where we're like, you have to do a cold shower or an ice bath every day. And guys are like, oh, that's too hard. That's not that hard. Like you can get in the shower and turn it to cold. That's not hard.
Right.
Ice bath, another story. Because now you got to get ice every day or whatever the case might be. Okay, that might be hard.
Yeah.
Or you buy a cold plunge, $4,000, $8,000 investment. Not everyone wants to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's fine. But you can cold shower. And then I have different layers of hard that will be hard for me that might not be hard for you and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Cool. Just run your hard. Mm-hmm. Again, it's just like guys looking for an excuse or an outcome where they can go, well, I couldn't do it because it's too hard for me and it's whatever. Like, shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. Choose hard. Whatever your hard is, run that. And I promise it'll get to a point where it's no longer hard. And then you have to level up. Like we did this thing where we told the guys to do 50 burpees a day for like 50 days. And by day 50, guys were like, this is not hard. Yeah. No shit, Sherlock, because you got conditioned to do fucking 50 burpees a day. Mm-hmm. So now move on. It was just like a little trial thing where I just wanted to fuck with their headspace and show them that they're being stupid little bitches. Like 50 burpees is not hard. Day 1 is hard. Mm-hmm. Day 10 is hard. Day 25, not so hard. Day 50, Mickey Mouse. Right?
The infamous catchphrase. I love it.
So like, fuck that shit. Just choose your hard and then keep progressing. Yeah. Don't stay in that zone because then you just get complacent. Complacency kills and we'll go fucking down a wormhole. I'm about to go back down there. So let's come back to the surface and put a bow on this.
There we go, man.
We done?
There we go. Yep, I'm all good.
Alrighty, guys. So to wrap this up and to put a bow on this whole conversation, choose your hard. I would love to know in the comment section below what your version of hard is right now and what you're going to commit to for the next 30 days. Do not fucking miss. For 30 days, do something and hold yourself accountable by dropping it in the goddamn comment section. Like, subscribe, share. We'll see you guys next week.